Why does our mind sometimes give an instant response in certain situations while other times we need to think before responding? Why does our mind respond differently in different situations? You might have seen in Atomic Habits how habits are formed scientifically. But this time, let's look at it from the perspective of behavioral economics and explore the two systems of thinking described in Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. System 1: Fast, automatic, and intuitive thinking, and System 2: Slow, deliberate, and analytical thinking. By understanding these systems, we can shed light on how habits are formed and influence our decisions, offering insights that go beyond the scope of traditional habit formation theories such as those described in Atomic Habits. A renowned psychologist and Nobel laureate, Daniel Kahneman, whose works on behavioral economics with his late colleague Amos Tversky has profoundly influenced our understanding of human decision-making processes. Thinking Fast and Slow, one of his most influential books, reflecting 40 years' worth of research with his colleague Amos Tversky. In this book, Daniel explains why we often make irrational decisions despite having the capacity for logical thinking. For instance, let's say you have already spent $100 on a movie ticket and the movie turns out to be disappointing. You might still choose to stay and watch it just because you don't want to waste money. Logically, you should make decisions based on current value. Is this movie worth your time? Not on past expenses that you have already made. But this irrational behavior reveals how our thinking can be influenced by biases rather than pure logic. He describes the two systems through which our decision making operates, System 1 and System 2, where System 1 is the fast, automatic, and intuitive mode of thinking. It operates with minimal effort and relies heavily on intuition and heuristics. There are some characteristics of System 1 you might consider knowing. Automatic. It functions with little to no conscious effort. Intuitive. Based on immediate impressions and gut feelings rather than analytical thought. Heuristic based means it utilizes mental shortcuts and rules of thumb to facilitate quick decision making. Emotional. Decisions are frequently influenced by emotional responses and inherited biases. Now, System 2. System 2 is the cognitive process that involves slow, deliberate, and analytical thinking. It involves a more methodical approach to decision making and problem solving. And obviously, there are some characteristics of System 2 as well you might consider. Deliberate. It involves conscious effort and attention. Analytical. Engages in systematic reasoning and logic. Effortful. Requires cognitive resources and can be taxing. Reflective. Involves critical thinking and evaluation of evidence. To get the idea of how both systems work, let's take a scenario of choosing a restaurant. Imagine yourself walking down a street. You immediately notice a restaurant with a bright, inviting sign and outdoor seating. You feel a strong urge to go there because it looks appealing and you are drawn to its ambience. This quick, instinctive decision is driven by System 1. However, let's say before making final decision, you pause to think more deeply. You check reviews online, compare the menu and prices, consider if the restaurant fits your dietary preferences and budget. And this careful evaluation and analysis represents System 2. Now, you may have got the basic idea of what the System 1 and System 2 are. Let's examine both systems more clearly and in greater detail. How mental activities that require attention are associated with System 2? Well, obviously because they involve deliberate, conscious, and effortful thinking processes. And we know that these are the fundamental characteristics of System 2. Acts that are carried out under conscious control and tasks that require deliberate effort and concentration are all done with the engagement of System 2. For instance, when we are learning a new skill or subject such as a new language or how to play a musical instrument, the learning process requires attention to detail, memorization, practice, and the application of new knowledge, all of which are effortful and deliberate, where System 2 is actively involved. Lazy controller. This chapter 3 of part 1 of this book explores the concept called lazy controller, which means the tendency of system 2 to often avoid effortful thinking and to rely on the quicker, more intuitive responses of system 1. To conserve energy, system 2 often leads to system 1's automatic, fast and intuitive processes, and of course this reliance is efficient for routine tasks but can lead to error in more complex situations. Sometimes it can happen because of cognitive ease. For instance, when tasks are familiar and straightforward, our system 2 overlooks the situation and allows the system 1 to handle them with little effort, which can lead to systematic error. And it can also overlook heuristic, that is mental effort, mental shortcut based actions, which sometimes lead to biases. Now, for what can be done to overcome lazy controller? Well, seeking feedback and learning from past decisions can strengthen system 2's engagement, and understanding where and why errors occurred helps improve future decision making processes. The associative machine. In chapter 4 of part 1, Daniel describes system 1 as the associative machine. This concept refers to how system 1 operates by forming relations between ideas, experiences and perceptions, resulting in intuitive and automatic responses. We all know that system 1 quickly generates automatic responses without conscious effort, and to do that it generates responses based on past experiences, learned patterns and immediate perceptions. And when you encounter a stimulus, system 1 quickly links it to related ideas, memories and emotions.